What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Spyro 4 yet again and put a focus on the Game Awards. We're going back to that well, and I think it's deserved, mainly because of Crash Team Rumble. But you know what? There's been other stuff that's gone on. We've talked about some of these things as well, whether it be on Twitter or YouTube or whatever. I think everything is lining up. Call me crazy, put on the clown makeup with me, all of that jazz. I am getting more and more excited and also optimistic. I'm still not at the point of expecting it. I think that's going to lead to just massive heartbreak. Although you could say I'm already pretty close to that, where if it doesn't appear at the Game Awards, I do feel like my soul would be crushed. I'm trying not to go all the way, but you have Spyro coming to Crash Team Rumble, and I do think Spyro 4 is happening, right? We've talked about that so many times, and I think Spyro coming to Team Rumble is that surefire sign. Now, you could say, well, they've done this before with like Team Race, and they have, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean it. I just think it makes a lot of sense combined with a few other things, right? There's been actually now several interviews from Toys for Bob developers, and they always seem like when you bring up Spyro, like Canadian Guy A did one, and there was another one a few days ago. Whenever there's an interview being done with these people, the responses to Spyro questions are always so fascinating because they don't entirely dodge the question most times. They'll kind of address it, and it normally leads to something where they kind of say, yes, like we know, number one, it's been a while, or we know Spyro deserves another game. They always reference the sales. We had talked about that too, right? When Reignited Trilogy, 10 million units. That's incredible. There's really no other way of putting it. 10 million for any game, even like a big game from, say, EA or Sony or Microsoft. If you get a game that sells, not as on a subscription service from day one or whatever, it sells 10 million units, that is extremely, extremely good. And obviously it took many years to get there, but there's obviously so much potential for a Spyro 4. I think it makes a lot of sense. And now that you got Xbox in it too, right? You combine that, I mentioned the subscription service. That wasn't a jab. That's just saying you have Spyro now. You put, number one, Reignited Trilogy on the subscription service on Game Pass. You make Spyro 4 on Game Pass, plus you just sell it. That would do, I think, incredible, because I think there's just an appetite for Spyro 4. So you got all this happening, coming to Crash Team Rumble, the day of the Game Awards. You actually had the Game Awards tweeting it with, like, the eyeball emojis, which really, like, that's another one where it's like, look, just leave it alone if you're not going to do it, right? And, I mean, are they trolling? Is it a hint at something? It could be either. I think it'd be pretty disrespectful to troll in a case like this. Like, look, there's some franchises that when they've been gone for so long, you don't troll. You don't do that to that kind of community. But when you have Spyro coming to a game that's not his on the day of the Game Awards, when you have the Game Awards tweeting that out with the eyeball thing, when you have developers that have constantly said that it deserves a sequel, and we can't really talk about anything more than that. There's just been so many hints, and that's why, without a doubt, and I've actually always been pretty strong on this, without a doubt, there is going to be a Spyro 4. It's going to happen. To me, the only question is how long, if at all, has it been in the works? And I say it like that because, well, they could have been working on it for the last year or so, maybe after Team Rumble, maybe concurrently with Team Rumble, maybe they just started it. Maybe they haven't started it yet, but they're in, I guess I was going to say like pre-production phase. Technically, you would have then started it, right? I think no matter what, Spyro 4 has probably started development. It's just how far into it is, because that would raise or lower the likelihood that the game would appear at the Game Awards, right? If it's been in development for even, say, just like a year, I think you could get some sort of cinematic trailer where you don't show almost anything. You just maybe hear Spyro's voice, see him, and then see the logo for Spyro 4. If you give it a subtitle or whatever, right, you would do that. It doesn't have to, be in development all that long to get that stuff. It really doesn't. Now, if they just started it like a month or two ago, right, obviously that changes things. But I really believe it's happening. I think all this stuff is kind of too weird or too, it's not a coincidence. There's absolutely no way. So it's going to happen. It's just, will it happen at the Game Awards? Will they announce it there? I think it makes a ton of sense. I think, and we've talked about this for a while, specifically with Crash, right? Ever since Team Rumble came out, and then you have the idea of Spyro, and then they did, season 2, I believe it was, right, with Ripto, and then it's like, okay, clearly, because even in that picture, they were teasing Spyro the whole time, and then, okay, now you bring Spyro in. The entire time we were talking about, it's not just about bringing Spyro to Crash Team Rumble. I think that's going to help it. I actually think that'll help Team Rumble, and that'll add a little bit of popularity to it, but it's not just that, it's how do they now take advantage of the thing that they did themselves, right? You put Spyro in, now you take advantage of that and you say, well, guess what? It's not only Spyro going into Crash Team Rumble, but we also got something else planned, and it's Spyro 4. You got to say that, and you got to do it. You got to capitalize on it when all of this stuff happens. And, doing it on the Game Awards day, even though I still think when I'm recording this video, we don't know for sure if that's the day Spyro comes out or if that's just the day, well, it's definitely the day Season 3 starts, I believe, but we don't know for sure if it's when he releases. I think it is. I hope it is. It really wouldn't make a lot of sense to not do it like that. You'd really be like grasping, like testing people's patience even more than you already have. But yeah, so I don't know. Right now, I'm 50-50 on the Game Awards thing. It's definitely gone up. Like, if you asked me a few months ago, obviously it'd be at 0. I want it to happen. I'm expecting Spyro 4, like, period. But I'm not expecting it, at the Game Awards. And I'm really, honestly, just doing that to not get destroyed if it's not there. But you know what? As we get closer, as we get more of these just weird things that happen that obviously do mean something, it's harder and harder to say, well, it means nothing. Like, it's not going to happen that day. No, it starts to, like, feel like it could happen. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I will be streaming the Game Awards, so if it happens, we'll see you live. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next one.